good afternoon, everyone. How are y'all today? Attendance is really good today, probably because of the test as well. Anyway, we'll just go for a short lecture first. It's on building a technopreneurial dream team, all right? So, as you know that by now, you should have started your crowdfunding campaign, at least be at the, at 90% completion and stuff, and by this weekend, you really have to put it up already, the crowdfunding campaign, and if you look at videos and activities, there's also like a section that you can click on from there that you can post your link of crowdfunding campaign so that we can view it of what you have posted. So we have had like some of you guys that already put it up. So good job. The rest of you who haven't, please do so ASAP. All right. So let's go on to our first part here. Why do we need teams? Sorry? Because 2 is better than 1. All right. So what else? Like for your crowdfunding campaign, you either work individually or work in teams and all that, right? I mean, we give you the choice. Yeah, people say if you go in teams, then you go further. Anything else? You can, the more the merrier. So, I mean, like, of course, every time when we think of a project and all, we will need to really think about our value proposition, because that's the difference, or value proposition also refers to the value we create or the difference that we deliver to make it better, all right, no matter what, whether it's your product or your service for the customer, right? I believe that by now everyone is pretty clear with what value proposition is. So we do need team, because like when you have, some of us have strengths that others do not. So when you actually group in teams and all that, then you will actually have like a better way to work on your strengths and compensate for other probably weaknesses or things that you might lack of, that your partners have, all right? In that way, you can also amplify strengths, mitigate weakness and shortcomings, because like everyone will actually play their role and everything, right? So if we look at that, we do have like a function table, all right? So actually this is taken from the TRT team, Taylor's Racing Team. I mean, it's based on that. How many of you are in the TRT team? Quite a number of you, right? So you do remember that, I mean, most of the time, I mean, like you will have different roles for different people, right? From there, we usually actually segregate it into 3 parts. One's knowledge, which is what we always relate to the cognitive domain, all right? So it's always related to the head. And then the second one is skills or psychomotor, more on the hands-on part. And then the third one would be the attitudes, all right? Attitudes would be the affective domain, all right? So cognitive will be things or knowledge that you would definitely will have to know. There are some theories and stuff like that you would need to know for certain roles that you play, all right? For psychomotor, it will be like for whatever role that you're playing, what are the skills that you actually need, all right? So if like you are a programmer or what, you might need to know some C++ programming or whatever, so those could be the skills that you will need. Attitudes, sometimes when you're dealing with certain stuff and all that, you will need the person to have certain qualities in them so that your project can be carried out smoothly and all that. If you happen to be the marketing person in your team, all right, so what are the attributes that you would need to have in them? Network. All right. What else? The person will also have to have the ability to really communicate effectively, right? What else? Anything that you can think of? Everyone's pretty much just focused on the test. Yeah, I can see that. All right. But all in all, I just need to make sure that everyone is aware of this, right? Okay, let's move on. So, core competencies. What do we know about core competency? All right. So, if we break it down into 2 parts, the core and the competencies part, all right, core is basically like the most important thing or the central of something, all right? Competency basically is like a skill that you need to perform a particular function or task depending on what role you have in the team, okay? So basically, it also means that you need to have a specific skills set, all right, so that you can deliver the value proposition to the customer, okay? And, well, this is from the Wiktionary, and capability and expertise, all right? definitely plays an advantage if you have a certain business side of it, because you're working on your crowdfunding campaign as well, right? And usually, whatever set of core competency that we have would be based on certain elements that we want to make sure that our competitors would not have or would lack of, all right? Because that drives the advantage of what we have and what they do not have, okay? So, if we look at apples, we take that as an example, all right? One thing that sets them different from the rest would most probably be the attractive design. Easy to use product, right? So I think like almost a majority of you actually own one of any Apple product. If you look at Dell, all right, they're very popular for their custom-made product. And then, you can be done directly from the manufacturer, okay? So when we talk about dream team, every time, we'll go back to the basics, which is Tuckman's model. Tuckman's model is something that you have learned before as well. All right. Do we remember that without looking at the slides? Do you? So we have 4 stages of them. All right. The first one will be the forming stage. Second would be the storming, norming, and then performing, right? So eventually they came up with the 5th one, which is adjourning. All right. But we'll just stay to 4. These are also the skills or the sets of attributes that you will sort of come across when you work in teams. All right. In the beginning, it will be the forming part when, you have like high enthusiasm and you might not know a lot about your project and whatnot, but the energy is high and so on. And then once it takes time and you progress through your project, it will come to a time when, because like, you are going to work with your team members, and then there could be some glitch or some misunderstanding that's happening and all that, and that actually could lead to you getting into your low enthusiastic self. Some conflicts might happen and stuff, and then probably during then you would not have a very specific set of direction yet, because everything is like all over the place. But after a while, you will see that once everything is kind of solved and you start to know your partners better, you know how everyone works and all that, then you will come to a norming stage where someone will eventually sort of like take charge, and most of the time it will be the leader of your group, okay? And with that, everyone would have known what to do already and stuff, and they will do according to the responsibility that they're given to. And the last part is the performing part. So if you see, it's like actually like a loop of, the energy level, the enthusiasm level, all right, compared to the awareness level. So, okay, that's what it is about. So what about organization chart? The purpose of organization chart, for every team, every organization, every company, you will have a chart, right? So it's also part of the way for us to structure the business so that we can actually deliver the value proposition to the customer, all right? It also tells us about relationships between departments, all right? And then it gives a clear lines of authority. At least from the organization chart itself, we do know that who's in charge of what, okay? And lastly, the decision-making tool, okay? So if you look at certain examples here, so the professional discipline focus, this is actually based on Taylor's University. So if you look at the highest one, it actually tells you it's the dean, and then followed by the deputy dean and all that, all right? And then somewhere below, you will have the program director, followed by the staffs, all right, students, and so on. If we have a product range focus, this would most probably be applicable to manufacturing side and all that. So you can have, this must be something regarding to all these microprocessor company and all that. We can have like some design departments, chipset, microprocessor, and so on. All right? For project, also the same. Someone could be involved in software, research project, product development, all right? And then we can, and then those that report to them would be the test engineers and so on. So everyone has a pretty structured role to play, okay? So this is the business functions, basic functions of what a company comprises. Basically, if you look at organization, most of the time they actually have human resource. Human resource is the one that actually is responsible for hiring and all that. Accounting and finance, those people that handle money. Production, sales, and marketing, because you would want to like create awareness and let people know that you exist and sell your product or service. Strategic management, operation management, the R&D part, okay, to improve the thing. And then customer service, to fill and accommodate any feedback from customers. Supply chain and logistics, procurement, legal and IT. So basically, it depends on what size your organization is also. So the bigger, usually, the more diversified. All right. I think I missed out something, but anyway. So we actually have like, oh, all right. There are some slides missing. Oh, okay, over here. So we have generally like 2 types of organization chart. If we look at the one of Taylor's University just now, when we actually can see that's like a hierarchical pattern, right? So it's more of like a typical organization or company structure. So from top to down, you actually have certain levels and all that. But at one point also, not only hierarchy, it can be of matrix function also. Matrix function is basically, you know, like what you see or what you use in matrix is like rows and columns, right? So there could be that at one tier of the part that everyone could be having like the same authority. For example, you have a big company or engineering company that actually work on a huge project, but it will be like one project, project A, project B, C, D, and so on. So for every project, you will need like the project manager and the engineer and stuff like that. So this is where your matrix type falls in. Okay, so that's basically the difference and all that. Whereas for hierarchy, it's mostly just from top to down, and you have like a clear pattern of who's the highest one until, you know, according to precedence, up to the lowest one. Is everyone clear about organization chart? Yes? All right. I think you guys just can't wait for whatever you need to do. So anyway, for your project, in order to deliver the value proposition, you also need to ask yourself, like, what set of skills that you need, what set of skills that your partner actually needs. So those will fall into your core competency. All right? And what business functions do you need? Do you really need all the list of business functions that we have just now? So it really depends on what your idea is. All right? So are you going to be able to deliver all this? And how are you going to fill up the gaps? So usually whatever that you're lacking of, that's basically whatever that you want to try to find in someone else that can help you with that. All right? Yes? All right. So can I get someone to do reflection and brain rewiring before we get started with our task? It's like a speedy one. Anyone want to volunteer for reflection?
I'm grateful for having test today.
All right, for test.
I'm grateful for having Cat as a friend.
Oh, that's very sweet.
I'm grateful for having Subway today.
Having?
Subway.
Oh, okay.
I'm grateful for having presentation today.
Have you done it?
Yeah.
Oh. What presentation do you have?
Group project.
All right.
Surprisingly, it well went.
Okay.
And I'm grateful for talking to my father today morning.
Oh, that's very sweet.
All right. Thank you.